Coming up on The Last Call, the Deep South's oldest rivalry on Saturday night in Athens. Hear from Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs on how they were able to take care of business against Auburn. Plus, the first week of playoffs have come and gone for our local football teams. We hit rewind from the first week to see who moved on and whose season came to an end. It's all on The Last Call, and it starts right now. Welcome back to The Last Call. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook. We've got a packed show for you. Bama rolls once again, but to his knee forces him out once again. The Falcons brown out in Cleveland, and the Deep South's oldest rivalry is renewed. Let's run it back. The Deep South's oldest rivalry belongs once again to the Georgia Bulldogs after they took down number 24 Auburn 27-10 at Sanford Stadium. The Georgia Bulldogs are now 3-1 with Kirby Smart as their head coach against Auburn. That one loss came 364 days ago at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It was 40-17. It's a much different year though. Georgia one step closer to making their second straight college football playoff, while the Tigers 4 losses on the year means they're out of the top 25.
I mean, look around, it feels great. I mean, everybody walking out here, everybody walking out here with a smile on their face, and to send these seniors out their last SEC game with a win, I mean, it feels great.
After 2 red zone trips without a touchdown, the Dogs finally broke through late in the first half. On a 3rd and 4 from the 14, Jake Fromm connected with Tyler Simmons to give Georgia a 13-10 lead. The defense pitched a quick 3-and-out, allowing Fromm and the Dogs one more chance to put up points before the half. On a crucial 4th and 3 from the Auburn 38, Fromm found former Callaway star Terry Godwin wide open across the middle for their second touchdown of the game, giving the Dogs a 10-point lead with 21 seconds left before the break.
I mean, coach called my number and I answered, and I mean, I helped the team out, put points on the board, and we just got we just caught the rhythm of the game after that.
Great play call, something we worked on all week. Terry does a great job in space, those option routes, and he did an awesome job. And I thought that was my hardest pass of the night because he was so open. You know, you don't want to miss it. But he ran a great route. Awesome, and really glad we scored a lot.
Neither Auburn or Georgia scored in the third quarter, but in the first minute of the final quarter, DeAndre Swift put the Deep South's oldest rivalry to bed on a 77-yard touchdown to give Georgia a 27-10 lead.
He was good early in the year. I mean, I don't know think he went good early in the year. He didn't get probably as many opportunities early in the year as he's getting now. He was deemed up some early, and he also he's got an offensive line that's locking their tail off. I mean, at the end of the day, DeAndre's a really electric, explosive player.
On defense, Georgia suffocated the Tigers. After allowing a touchdown on Auburn's second possession, the Dogs only gave up 3 points while shutting out Jarrett Stidham and the Tigers in the second half.
Oh, this game tells us a lot about our character. You know, we came in, we got down early in the game, we had to come back and fight. And Auburn, a great team, physical team, same type of system as us, so we had to come out and fight. It's a great win for us.
Worth noting is Georgia's continued struggles inside the red zone. On their 4 trips inside the 20, Georgia only scored 1 touchdown. The other 3 drives all went to at least the Auburn 2-yard line, but still resulted in no touchdown for the nation's number 5 team.
We worked really hard on it. We emphasized the team, we did extra red zone periods, and we felt like that could be the difference in the game. And it was without the play by Terry in the first half, Jay, that's what you're going into half thinking about. But they're in the country that, you're second in the country, holding the field goals. Just got to get better at it. We'll continue to work out. We did some different things tonight. It should work out.
Kirby Smart also said his team has yet to play their best ball. They get a couple trial runs to do so when they host UMass next week, and again they'll host Georgia Tech in their final game before taking on Alabama in the rematch in Atlanta on December 1st for the SEC Championship and a spot in the college football playoff on the line for the Dogs. Reporting on your side from Athens, Georgia, Justin Holbrook, News 3 Sports.
Obviously, anytime you come up short, especially in the second half, and not put any points on the board, that's disappointing. Third downs, I mean, it really comes down to third downs. I mean, 3 of 13 is not going to cut it in any game. We didn't play well in all 3 phases.
Auburn will host Liberty next week before they travel to Alabama for the Iron Bowl to close out the regular season. Speaking of Bama, they're going for their 24th consecutive win at home. The Tide's opening drive, Tua Tagovailoa sells the play action, then threads the needle to Irv Smith Jr. to the 1-yard line. The Tide score on the next play, leads 7-0. Under 3 minutes left in the first, Bama knocking on the door, and this time it's the freshman Xavier Williams, jukes out a few guys, and he's in for the touchdown. The Tide back in the red zone. Tua finds a wide-open Williams, make it 21-0. Alabama won, but Tua left the game in the third quarter after a hit to his already injured knee. After the game, he said it's fine. He'll have a light week, though, against Citadel next Saturday. Falcons in cold Cleveland, riding a 3-game win streak. The Browns, a 4-game losing streak. This was the Nick Chubb highlight show. Mayfield, a double fake, goes to the rookie who powers in for the 13-yard score. Browns led 14-10 at half. Cleveland traded Carlos Hyde earlier this year, giving Chubb more chances to show what he can do. Bulldog fans already know, and now so do Cleveland fans. He gone, 92-yard touchdown, now the longest touchdown in franchise history, and the Brownies beat the Dirty Birds 28-16. Still to come on the last call, we'll take a look back at the first full week of playoffs for our local teams as they try to make their title hopes come true. Stick around.
Hey, bring it in, everyone. Welcome to the first playoff edition of the Prep Zone presented by WOW. I'm Rex Castillo alongside my co-host Justin Hallbrock, and we started a school that hasn't hosted a playoff game since Justin was 1 year old.
I'm a little older now. The last time Beulah hosted a playoff game was back in 1995, and their first playoff appearance since 2007. So the Bobcats in their first playoff game in over a decade, but the team they're hosting in Thomasville is making their 17th straight playoff appearance. 5 seconds left in the first quarter, no score. Tigers looking to pass, but Caden Dowdell has other plans. Gets the sack, and it was big because Thomasville would end up missing the field goal halfway through the second. A Varian post Malone doesn't throw the post, it's a fade to Javian Johnson inside the Bobcats 35. Later in the drive, direct snap to Jay Toller, straight up the gut for the first tutty, and the Tigers led 7-0 at half. It stayed 7-0 as Beulah falls in the first round.
Oh, so great environment. Over in Phoenix City, the undefeated Central Red Devils kicked off their postseason against Davidson. Late in the first, Devils lead 10-zip. Warriors, they go to the bag of tricks, but Devontae Matthews would eventually crash the party. Devils would take over and get all the way into the red zone. Now check this out, Justin. With 0.2 seconds left in the quarter, check out this catch by Eddie Williams with the defender all over him. Ooh. Brings it in with one hand because he's not mortal. Devils go for two and get it. It's 18-0 Central heading into the second. 10:23 left in the second quarter. The Arkansas commit, Amonte Spivey, finds some daylight and says, I want to break free. The Arkansas commit goes 49 yards to the house. Guys, it's just another day at the office for Central. They roll over Davidson 46-0.
All right, Opelika made it to the quarterfinals last year. The Dogs already lead 24-0 at halftime. St. Paul's Jordan Ingram takes the handoff in the third quarter, goes up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, and he's in for the 16-yard tutty. PAT missed 24-6 Opelika. The very next play after the kickoff, Opelika's Brenton Barnett gets the handoff, and he gone. Untouched, 80 yards for the touchdown, 31-6 at that point, and the Dogs cruise to the next round as they win 38-20. They'll play Bessemer City. And Lynette, meanwhile, opens up their state title defense against Florala. Panthers up 27-7 in the second. Christian Story, the quarterback, comes up with the huge interception on 4th and 3. The Panthers take over with great field position. On the ensuing possession for the Panthers, Story at quarterback makes a few guys miss and lets it fly towards the end zone. The receiver and defender fight for it, but Florala ends up with it. So Story gets picked and has a pick. But Lynette D comes up big once again. The ball gets knocked loose, and the big man Levante McCullough falls on for it, and Lynette, good field position again. Happened all night. They win this one big, 53-7. They'll play Marengo next week.
My goodness. Over Beauregard, the Hornets kick off their postseason against Pleasant Grove, looking to sip on a cup of sweet victory tonight. 9 minutes left in the first. Q Soroyer rolls out to his left, has all the time in the world, launches a bomb to Jay Goodson, and the man rips it out of the sky. Hornets take the early 7-0 lead. Ensuing Spartans drive. Zyquez Permian finds Xavier Hill and watch this. 2 Hornets bounce off him, but wait, there's more. Runs over one more. Eventually, he's brought down. That led to a Spartan score, so we're tied at 7. 1:16 left in the first. Q goes back to his left. This time he shows up the touch. Floats it to Chase Sumner for the second Hornets touchdown of the night. Beauregard, though, would fall late as the Spartans win 42-21. It's Final Four time in the AISA playoff. Chambers Academy hosting Wilcox. Rebels looking for their first ever state title midway through the first. No score. Hayden Harris takes the handoff and he's in. Extra point would be no good, though, so the Rebels lead 6-0. Second quarter now. Bobcats inside the red zone. Wood Hollinger, first time I've heard that as a first name, but he's tough as wood. Bobcats score, and they take the 1-point lead 7-6. Rebels on the move now. This man, Jordan Gillespie, with the catch, puts the Rebels up. But one, of course, there goes CJ Lyons to finish it off. Rebels take the lead, and Chambers Academy is back on the state championship stage for the 4th consecutive year. They win it 36-13.
Still looking for that first ever state title. Eufaula traveled to Hueytown tonight. If you couldn't read the sign, the Golden Gophers sign says, "Sorry, Tigers, you've fallen out of the playoffs."
Nice.
That's pretty good. First quarter, Rodell Williams gets the carry, cuts to the right, untouched around the corner for the 20-yard touchdown. Gophers on the board first. Williams added an 83-yard touchdown. It's 14-0, but then Eufaula answers. Hess Horn, the quick screen to Trez Blackshire for the score. Tigers trying to stay in it, but the Golden Gophers and Williams were too much tonight. He scored 5 times on the ground, and Hueytown wins 38-17, ending Eufaula's season.
Auburn opened up their 7A playoff run tonight against Fairhope, and the Tigers are moving on to the 7A quarterfinals. 34-23 winners over Fairhope. Valley season comes to an end as they fall 42-28 to Briarwood Christian.
Great season there for Buster Daniel, though. Lafayette goes on the road to Geneva County and pitches a shutout, 40-0. Notasulga, though, they fall just short, upsetting the 1 seed Georgiana. The Blue Devils close, but they fall 41-34.
Over in AISA, the Glenwood Gators look to punch their ticket to the championship game in Troy and just come up short. The Gators fall 36-29 in overtime. Great season for the Gators. Now we kick off our postseason in Georgia with a team that has plenty of postseason experience, the Callaway Cavaliers.
They're making their 13th straight playoff appearance, but they still have yet to ever win their first state title. Could do it this year.
Let's see if they can do it. Callaway open up the 2-way playoffs against Elbert County. Second play of the game for Callaway. They give it to the Tank. He hits the corner and turns on the Jets. This is the fastest Tank you'll probably ever see in life. There he goes, 74 yards. See you later. Cavaliers take an early 7-0 lead after that touchdown run. Elbert County trying to get something, anything going on offense, but Telly Flanning would have absolutely none of that. Big sack to force a punt. Yeah, life is kind of miserable when you play the Cavaliers. Get used to it. Callaway would cash in on the ensuing possession. There goes Tank Bigsby, who is pretty much unstoppable. Dives in. He's in from 5 yards out. Cavs up 14-0. Callaway advances to the next round, 27-14. They'll travel to take on the defending state champs, Hattville Charter.
It's a tough draw, but they can do it. Back in town, Corey Joyner in his first postseason as Carver's head coach, but it didn't start out well. On the Warhawks' very first play, Mike Wright calls his own number, slices through the Carver defense, and he's right into the end zone. He gone 70 yards to the house, and just like that, the Warhawks lead 7-0. The Tigers were bounced in the first round last year, hoping to avoid the same fate this year. Carver punches back. Jalen Joyner fires the deep ball to Jarius Thomas. He turns on the Jets, and he's eventually brought down inside the red zone. And a few snaps later, Tigers call on their very, very reliable weapon, Kyron McCoy. Sprints into pay dirt, untouched to tie the game at 7. This was a high-scoring affair, but Carver would lose the shutout 55-40.
Great season for them, though. Macon County and Chatco locking horns in the first round of the playoffs. Panthers on the move. DeAndre Matson says, you know what? I got this. Keeps the rock, uses the stiff arm. Get off me, boy. Shakes off another defender, gets the first down. Few snaps later, Panthers are knocking on the door, show off more of that toughness. Josh Delaney dives into paradise for the score. Now later in the frame, this time Trevor Erickson calls his own number, dives into pay dirt as well to make it 14-0 Panthers. These boys like to play. In the end, Chatco's season lives on. They take down Macon County 22-12.
All right, this matchup went down yesterday. Troup County hosting Oconee County. Taylor Glisson and his team making their 3rd straight playoff appearance. After a botched punt, Oconee County takes over in Troup territory. Max Johnson rolls out to his left, and Jackson Manders comes down with a jump ball. The Warriors lead 7-0 with 3:30 left in the first. But on the ensuing drive, here come the Tigers. Tyree Carlisle finishes off the drive as he fights into paradise, tied 7-7 at the end of the first. Next Troop possession, Kobe Hudson, a quick slant across the middle to Jacorius Willis. See you later, 60 yards for the tutty. Tigers lead 14-7 early in the second quarter. And now it's time for the defense to shine. 3rd and 5 for the Warriors. Johnson scrambles, and King Makuta comes up with a strip sack. The ball rolls around and ends up in the hands of Andy Boykin, who takes it in for the touchdown. Troop led 21-14 at half. And then on the first drive to start the second half, Tyree Carlisle, who was an absolute machine on the night, uses the spin move, reaches out for his second of 3 touchdowns on the night. The Tigers win and advance 42-28.
The dangerous, dangerous team. The Harris County Tigers season comes to an end. The Dutchtown Bulldogs just too much tonight. Tigers fall 35-0. Columbus pulls off their first playoff win of any kind since 1994. That's when Justin was born.
All right.
They knock off Salem 35-32 on the road. Great win for them. Hardaway gave Eastside a fight. They were within 4 in the third, but the Hawks, they fall 41-23. Spencer, well, they fall hard against Rayburn County tonight, 65-0.
All right, other scores. Brookstone goes on the road and knocks off, they knock off Christian Heritage 28-7. And then finally, Emmanuel County Institute knocks off the Manchester Blue Devils 42-20. And Taylor County goes on the road and falls to Charlton County 38-0. Calvary Christian Knights couldn't keep up with the Community Christian Knights tonight, and they fall 45-20, ending their season. Week 2 of the playoffs come your way this Friday on the Prep Zone. Just over a dozen teams left standing after winning last week. Joining me now is Jack Patterson. Jack, we're going to break down these upcoming matchups.
Absolutely. The road doesn't get any easier for our teams. We got teams trying to exercise playoff demons. We have teams trying to win state titles for the first time. So let's get to it.
Let's do it. We'll start in Georgia, Class 4A, as the Troop Tigers will make the trek to Pickens County, and the Columbus Blue Devils, fresh off their first playoff win in 24 years, will face off against the Baldwin Braves.
Now, over in Class 2A, we talked on the Prep Zone preview about Callaway having a tough draw. They'll travel to the defending Class 2A champion, Hateville Charter. Meanwhile, in 1A Private, Brookstone pulled off the upset over Christian Heritage last week. They get 5th-ranked North Cobb Christian on the road.
In Class 1A Public, Sly County opens their playoff run at home against Tryon, while Marion County will host Montgomery County in Buena Vista. The winners of those 2 games will play each other in the Elite 8.
Could be Marion Sly Part 3.
Love it.
Crossing the river over to Alabama, the Class 7A quarterfinals will be something, I'll tell you. Auburn will host Lee Montgomery at the Duck in a rematch of the game from earlier this year, while Central and McGill-Tulane will dance yet again in the playoffs as the Red Devils finally look to get past the Yellow Jackets.
And in Class 6A, the Opelika Bulldogs may be the hottest team in the state. They will travel to Bessemer City. And over in Class 2A, Lafayette, coming off a shutout on Friday, they'll host Highland home.
In Class 1A, the Lynette Panthers will host Marengo at Morgan Washburn Stadium. And last but certainly not least, the Chambers Academy Rebels are in the AISA 1A championship game for the 4th year in a row. They'll take on Crenshaw Christian, looking for that elusive first state title.
They're in their 50th year. They could win their first title in year 50. That's pretty cool.
No time like the present.
Well, we're going to have all of those games that are at home for our local teams, and we'll try to get some of those games on the road as well. Of course, it's all in the Prep Zone coming up at 11 Eastern this coming Friday. Stick around, because after this, Jack and myself will be doing Picks of the Week.
Absolutely. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Picks of the Week. Like I said, Jack is back.
I'm back.
Let's do it, Jack. We've got your Falcons coming off a bad loss against the Browns. They're hosting Dallas. Can they get back in the win column?
Must win for the Dirty Birds, going with the Falcons, obviously at home. Dallas has not had exactly a great season either. So I'm going with the Falcons here. They've got to get it right if they want any hope of making a run to the playoffs.
It was cold in Cleveland. Matt Ryan plays a lot better in warmer climates or in a dome. And they are in a dome against a team that's also used to playing in the dome. But I'm going to take the Falcons because they're at home and because they're just a little bit better on offense than the Cowboys.
Dak Prescott still has nightmares over last year's game.
Probably true. All right, we're also doing NASCAR because we've got the championship that's going to be decided this week. Who are you taking?
It's Homestead Miami week. I'm going with Kevin Harvick, the man on a mission after the penalty in Phoenix. He qualified for the championship 4, and he's always really good at Homestead Miami. So I'm going with the 4 to win title number 2.
I actually tend to agree with you. I think he's had a dominant season this year, even a historic one, and capping it off with the championship would just be, the cherry on top for him
Absolutely.
this year. All right, and finally, we've got our personal picks. So what you doing?
I am going to the ice rink. The Nashville Predators, the number 1 team in the NHL right now, undefeated on the road.
It's early.
Still the number 1 team in the NHL. That will continue. They will go on the road to Anaheim and knock off the Mighty Ducks.
I am going to what looks like the best basketball court right now in the NBA. It's the Miami Vice Heat throwback court.
I will agree with you on
It is the coolest thing. They are hosting the new look Philadelphia 76ers, who just traded for Jimmy Butler. That team is going to compete with Boston for the Eastern Conference Championship. I'm going to take the 76ers to beat Miami on that sweet looking court.
Don't forget about Toronto too.
We've also got Connor and Rex not here today. You go ahead and do Connor.
Absolutely. Connor's taking the Falcons over the Cowboys, taking Kyle Busch to win it all in Miami, and he's picking his alma mater, Georgia Southern, over Coastal Carolina.
All right, Rex also taking his favorite team for his personal pick. That's Texas over Iowa State. And he's taking Kyle Busch to win the championship. And finally, he's taking the Dallas Cowboys to beat your Atlanta Falcons.
Texas bias, man. I tell you. I tell you.
I do think it'll be a good game. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Rise up.
All right, that's it for Picks of the Week. We'll be right back after this.
In brotherhood, we rise.
Atlanta United hosting New York City FC, and Joseph Martinez on the penalty kick to give United the lead in about the 24th minute. And then Miguel Almiron on the free kick nails it. United wins 3-1 to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. Meanwhile, CSU Soccer advances as well to the Southeast Region Final. They take down Flagler 4-0. That'll do it for The Last Call. Same time next week. Thanks so much for watching. The James Brown Show is next.